guys want to get some coffee or something?
Can I get a cup of coffee? Black? Can't you see we talking? White?
Even little kids in Mexico drink coffee.
Well, I'm not a little kid in Mexico, okay?
That is the best coffee I've ever tasted.
A damn fine cup of coffee.
You want a cup of coffee?
No coffee.
Coffee drinker, huh?
Maybe we could grab some coffee?
Coffee, 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 coffee.
God damn, Jimmy. That's some serious gourmet shit. Me and Vincent would have been satisfied with some freeze-dried Taster's Choice, right? And he springs this serious gourmet shit on us.
Good morning to everybody out there. Wow. I tell you, since the last time I was on with everyone on last Friday, a lot has really changed. Wow. All I could say is from here on out, I think we can guarantee that nothing truly will ever remain the same. We are headed for some massive changes in fandom and in our entertainment. And I'm still kind of in shock. To be completely honest, I'm still kind of a little in shock. But you know what? I don't think I'm alone in many ways. Hello to everyone. Anima, Penny, Das Wolfen, Comic Crusader. Wow. Quite a few people here this morning. Socks, Bulletin, D. Bud Martin, of course, Martine. And, well, you know what? Since it's not going to be possible for me to do all of this by myself, let me just go ahead and bring in my accessories after the fact. Das Wolfen.
Guten Morgen, Herr Keith.
Hey. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. So just you've watched a lot of different shows over the course of this year. Have you got it pretty much fixed in your mind what your top 5 are?
Vaguely.
I think a lot of people are still kind of vague. That's been the kind of year we've been having.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's go ahead and see if Mr. Christopher has the same kind of thought about this. An armature. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt your workout there.
Yeah, just finishing up. Showtime, a-holes.
So how about you, my friend? Are you've watched a few shows over the course of this year? I mean, I have a pretty good idea what your top 5 would be.
Let's see. Well, number 1, I'm crazy about Primal. And I did. What did I watch? See, I get a lot of flack for just not watching stuff. I've been assigned to watch Andor per my last live stream. I was got in trouble for saying that I'm not really interested in that. Mm-hmm. The live streams about Archer, I had left Archer for a while, but watching everyone talk about Archer makes me want to come back to it. But I'm trying to think. I think all I've watched is Primal and The Crown. And The Crown isn't really our audience. I mean, I'm sure there's a few of our audience that likes The Crown, but really been enjoying that. And I just watch, I keep going back to an old show, the Sci-Fi Channel's Face Off, the Makeup Channel Challenge show. So I'm not traditional in keeping up on a lot of the shows that are going on. I'm certainly I just want to say in terms of what happened with Henry Cavill, this goes with what I was saying before. We're on our own. They're not gonna they're just gonna keep doing what they're gonna do, and they don't care if we're satisfied with it or not. In the hands of James Gunn, it could be good. I think it was, what is it, Chato? I keep wanting to call him Cheeto. Hollywood executive.
Paul Chato.
Yeah, Paul Chato. Not Cato. But he mentioned on Twitter, a lot of the best Superman comics were back when Superman was kind of working. We were following him more as a reporter, and he didn't kind of turn into Superman, so to speak, until the last resort. He had to become Superman. And so he was kind of predicting, well, maybe James Gunn's going to play it like that, and that could be fun. So it's a wait and see thing. We love Cavill. I know that my gay friends especially love Cavill. They're always posting shirtless gifs of him. And, quite honestly, even as a straight man, I can see the appeal. So, but I think, I'm sure I've watched other TV shows. They go out of my head as soon as I watch them. So you'll probably bring something up and like, oh yeah, I saw that. Oh, Wednesday as well. Wednesday, and of course, Stranger Things. Stranger Things already went down the memory hole for a lot of people, but my daughter watches it over and over again every single season. So I've seen season 4 about 20 times now. And Wednesday, I haven't given my full attention, but it's been on in the house while I've been doing things. And I got to say, I was actually pleasantly surprised at the cast and the fun the story was having. Pretty good stuff. So yeah, those are my picks.
Okay, that's a pretty good list. And you know what? Before we get too far into this, let us bring the guy that I like to call the man with the plan. The guy for whom a lot of this stuff does not move forward very quickly. Martin, my man.
Hey, good morning. How are you today?
You know what? Outside of the personal stuff, I think I'm running good. How about you, my friend? Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Yep.
I think we have something here. I think yes.
Hey, Christian.
Wow.
Is that okay? It's very small on my screen. I was reading that as 100,000. Sorry.
Oh well, 100,000. I might even sing part of a song. My weekly contribution, Keith. You have a contagious laugh. Cheers, boys. Well, thank you very much. You know what? Let's see what we could play. I'm thinking we should do. Here we go. How about this one?
So the long and the veiny of it is you're going to help us out, right?
Okay. Well, again, for those that actually have read what the title card said, we will be talking about the top 5 picks of television and streaming shows. This is part 1 of my top 5 because we'll be doing the next top 5 list, which will be film next week. Okay. So
I do not get to say my list then?
Yeah, I was going to go and ask you what yours was.
Oh, because I'm very excited about sharing this with you. Well, in no particular, from less to more in the I like it scale, we have Loki, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, The Rings of Power, and Kenobi.
Cool. You know what?
Of course, you really fall for that.
I know. No, I was like, I said, cool. I was gonna say, I'm glad to have you on my show because I've been meaning to talk to you, seeing how you seem to be the only person keeping all those shows afloat.
Well, no, my real list, and some things maybe not be from this year, but is the year and that I saw them. So my number one is Andor. Number two is Reacher. My number three is Vox Machina. The number four is Tales of the Jedi. And having a tie, Cyberpunk 2077 Edge Runners and Wednesday.
Wow. Eclectic and solid.
I've got my list more nailed down now.
Okay, John, what's your list?
Legend of Vox Machina, number one.
Okay.
Number two is Stranger Things season 4.
Okay.
Number three is Reacher.
Okay.
Number 4 is Terminal List.
Okay.
And believe it or not, number 5 is Andor.
Okay. Hey. Wow, that's good.
I'm being threatened to watch Andor. I get it. Hey, I will say this. I'm gonna stick up for Loki for a second.
Okay.
Not that it wasn't terrible in the sense of two major aspects. One, it's completely not the character and does not fit in the Marvel universe, and it's stupid for that reason. And also not because of the stupid moments where, the gratification, like, you're amazing, that's that typical thing where they just say, like, the female character is just the bestest ever, all that sort of thing. But I will say, in there somewhere, there is a good show. It just got bogged down in the fact that it was whoever created it had that in their mind, but it was tainted with agenda and it was shoehorned into the Marvel universe. I think as a sci-fi concept on its own, it could have been really good. And I'm sad about that because I really like Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. I thought that they were both fun together. So not saying that I like it or I recommend it, more of there was some good stuff in there, and I'm just sad that it didn't get to really live up to its potential. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I completely forgot about House of the Dragon. So, number 2 is House of the Dragon. Bump everything down, and Andor's off the list.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hey, we have a super chat from Wolverine 626.
Okay, James Gunn is a blank, not just for the Henry Cavill situation, but taking work from another writer for himself. Okay, first of all, hold on. We had a backdoor reference, so first I have to play this.
Strong. I'm gonna go check the back door. Back door.
And then I play this for Wolverine 626.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Okay.
Not only that, we have another super chat from Christian Delorme. Thank you, Chris.
Oh, okay. $5. A quick question for the panel. Your favorite John Carpenter movie? I'm split with 2, Big Trouble in Little China and The Thing. You know what? We are almost exact. I would have to say mine would be Big Trouble in Little China and oh man, it just went right out of my head.
Escape from LA?
No.
The horror one?
Yeah.
They Live?
Halloween?
No.
In the Mouth of Madness.
No.
Prince of Darkness.
Yes.
We got there.
Prince of Darkness. So
that's a great one too.
It's one of those films that just It's definitely a lot of fun. And now that there's rumors that Carpenter might have an idea for a sequel to that, and it could be on his list of things to possibly get done. So I'm kind of excited about that.
It's I think you shouldn't put so much stress on yourself to pick your favorite John Carpenter movie, because he's got movies for so many different moods, which is what's wonderful about him. I do absolutely love Big Trouble in Little China. And, it's common for me in my house to go, you know what old Jack Burton says at a time like this? Who? Jack Burton. Me.
There's a lot of cool lines from that. I would be really interested in getting my hands on the original script from that film back when it was.
Yeah, that would be interesting, because I know he made a lot of changes and he was disappointed with the concessions, but for me, it's almost a perfect movie.
Well,
come out no more.
Well, what? I mean, from its original concept as a Western. So that's what the movie actually was.
It was a Western, huh? I did not know that. That's
as a fan, if you really think about it, all of the pieces are there.
Yeah.
The time period is different. That's all.
Well, I mean, Kurt Russell is essentially doing John Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it well. Very well, I gotta say.
How about you guys? John? Martine?
For me, it's probably going to be Big Trouble in Little China, but They Live is a close second.
Okay.
I also recommend fee.org's. They got a show called Out of Frame. They do some great commentary content about They Live, which I highly recommend.
Cool. I will definitely have to check that one out. Let's see, Mr. Tickletruck, can we please enter Martin's list into the record, which can never be changed, so he may wear that like a necklace of shame?
Well, you can clip it if you want to.
Well, that's one way of teaching him a lesson. But you know what? For that latest thing there, that was $5. I'm gonna give you this.
Fascinating. And here I was thinking Mr. Tickletron was my friend.
Well,
my number one. Oh, sorry. My number one from Carpenter is, as I said, In the Mouth of Madness.
Cool. Also excellent.
Okay, well, then let's just go ahead and start on my list. So right now we are going to start with number 5. And number 5 is The Old Man. Again, not something immediately recognized as being genre, but this is one of those standout breakout shows. And the cast was excellent. Jeff Bridges, Amy Brennerman, John Lithgow. I mean,
yeah, what a cast.
And that's just some of the cast. I mean, that's not everybody, but it is the kind of thriller that really this could have easily have been a really well done film, and to have it as a television show really was something kind of cool. And the fact that I know someone that actually worked on the show, who is a really, really cool and good guy, that made me really excited that I loved really this program so much, and that it made my top 5 for the year. Any of you guys gotten a chance to see that?
Nope.
I have a list of shows longer than my arm that I should be watching, and I haven't. The Old Man, I haven't watched that. No, it's not. It keeps getting bumped down the list.
Now he's a former assassin, was it? What's
it's about it's about a man whose past is catching up to him, and you realize that his wife has recently passed away, and that he's a guy that seems to be living off the grid, having worked for the CIA.
Okay.
And yeah, this is something that I mean, it's definitely one of those shows that if you're someone who likes something like, say, Andor, you will love The Old Man.
Well, it kind of reminds me too of like A History of Violence.
Kind of, sorta.
Which I love that Archer mixed A History of Violence with Bob's Burger, by the way.
Well, let me at least say this. For a show like this, I will definitely say that my standout breakout episode is actually the pilot. I thought that the pilot was really well done. And I once you really get into the show, you get in deep. You know, I've always loved animals, and now, you know, the thought of getting into my golden years and having 2 dogs that I can train to do my bidding. Wow. Okay. You know, but yeah. Episode 1 of The Old Man is my standout breakout for this show. And again, just a stellar cast. I mean, everybody's just bringing it. You know, this is the kind of show that I could see as sort of like being the kind of show where you could take something like, say, the show 24 and have it be like, what if Jack Bauer had somehow made it into his old age? I mean, this is that kind of show. And as I said before, the cast is incredible, and including having Joel Grey as part of the cast. Ooh, wow. Anyway,
I'm also interested in John Lithgow. As an actor, I always find him, whether it's comedy or straight drama, he always brings it.
Yeah, and I also have to give a special shout out to the actors that play the younger versions of the characters that Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow play. Break out and uncanny. Just phenomenal. Phenomenal.
They got to match John Lithgow. That's nothing to sneeze at.
It again, I tell people, if you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Definitely. And it comes in at number 5. Number 4. Now, I struggled a little bit with number 4. This was definitely something that I watched a lot of programs, and I gotta say, this one, though, you know me, you know it had to get on there somehow, and that is Reacher. Reacher was great to see. It's not that I didn't like Tom Cruise's film version of this particular story. It's the fact that the author really enjoyed this, and being able to take a book and stretch it out over the course of a season so that you can get to all the nooks and crannies of the story and to really get inside of it. I thought it was brilliant for this particular material. I will say that Alan Reichsten is a breakout star who it's been years in the making for his career. But this is a part that fits like a glove. I can't really see any other person being able to play Jack Reacher other than Mr. Reichsten. And wow. Willa Fitzgerald, Kristen Kruk, who a lot of you know from Smallville, She was Lana Lang, and Malcolm Goodwin lead a cast that was just perfect. Of course, one of my all-time favorite actors, Bruce McGill, is a part of the cast.
Keith,
Yeah.
read what Badass just said.
Ah, jeez. Tom Cruise is fun size, not Reacher sized. Yeah, that's funny. That's very funny.
I'm glad to hear that the show takes the book material and gives it time, because one of the things that I've always wanted to see, because I'm a big Anne Rice fan, was a decent Interview with a Vampire adaptation. And just to see from the start, from the show, you know, what the changes they announced for the show, I was like, why bother? You know, why not call it something? You just want to slap that name on it and do whatever you want. I think people who are fans of books, I think I've said this before, but they want to see really faithful interpretations of their books, because for them, that's a way of, you know, when you hand someone a book and say, read this, it's fantastic, most people won't. But if they see it on the screen and they enjoy it, then they want to go check out the source material. And I think that's a lot of fans of books' hopes for a book when it makes it to the screen. So again, like Interview with the Vampire, once I saw the changes, I was like, this isn't even the story, you know, even like at its core. So to hear you say that this show did that is refreshing and makes me happy.
Well, and again, this is what can happen when you find that the people making the show really do seem to be fans of the material. Everybody works hard to bring it to life. Again, I keep pointing to the cast. One of my other favorite character actors, Cary Graham, Mr. A.J. Simmons is really good in this, very standout. But another one of my favorite character actors, Martin Roach, and of course, young Mr. Maxwell Jenkins, who plays the younger version of Reacher. To me, this young man is definitely going to have an incredible career. I have been following him since he was cast as Will Robinson in the Netflix version of Lost in Space, which, again, if you have not seen it, it definitely made my list last year. It is one of the best readaptations of material I have ever seen. That entire series is worth your time. And if you've not seen it, you're in for a treat. Something that you can watch with your family during the holiday season. So, highest recommendation.
My buddy Shannon Shea over at Spectral Motion Effects was the lead creating the robot. People don't realize that a lot of that robot, even though they did CGI for it, a lot of times it was a guy in a suit. So they worked on that. And fun fact, there were articles talking about how women really love the ass on that robot.
Wow. Okay.
I pointed that out to Shannon, and he's like, "Yeah, I saw that too. That's weird."
Wow.
All right.
As far as my best episode, go ahead.
Mr. Trickleton is making a point here directed to Chris, but it bleeds out completely on your turf.
It bleeds out completely on my turf?
On Keith's turf.
To Chris's point, I'm hoping the Babylon 5 reboot will point people towards the original series. Okay, look, let me stop what I'm doing right now. Take a little time. I know I had originally considered doing this at the beginning of the show to talk about a few things. This will be a nice point to give everybody a breather and to talk about the situation with Henry Cavill and Warner Brothers. Let me just say this. For those that have been following for those that have been following us, me, and more than likely people who are better than me at this, like Valiant Renegade and WDW Pro, at this point, there are a lot of financial issues that both Warner Brothers and Disney are really, really having to work at, especially with Disney. But Warner Brothers has a lot of financial issues that they are fighting through. I will be very surprised if Babylon 5 reboot survives what is having to have happen in order for Warner Brothers Discovery to continue to make payroll, pay its bills, and be able to do what it's doing right now. So a lot of the choices that have been made as far as what to keep, what to get rid of, are being made because of their money situation. And with the revelation about the CW network and the fact that they were losing money for years, and that pretty much, I know a lot of people like to talk stuff about these guys, but based on what I've been seeing, Netflix has pretty much been keeping certain aspects of our entertainment industry afloat financially. I will definitely say, you Star Trek fans who are fans of the current version of Star Trek, you owe Netflix big, because without it, there would be no Discovery. First 2 seasons would have not gotten funded. And it seems like Netflix was keeping a good portion of the CW afloat financially.
Yeah, when you look at the financials that came out for CW, it's actually astounding that they let it go for that long.
Yeah, well, again, all the people who are wanting to throw shade and talk about things, or mad at David Zaslav because something that they cared about got cut, you got to understand, okay? It's not really him doing it. All of us as adults have to make choices. You know, every month you have bills to pay, and you have to make a decision as to what bills you're going to pay, or whether or not you can just turn around and use all that money to go out and have some fun in Vegas or some other place. You have that choice. But at the end of the day, definitely by the end of the month, you know,
this is
live with the consequences of those choices.
This is what, not meaning to get political, but this is why so many people hated Margaret Thatcher. They just saw the cut she was making. They didn't realize that she was preventing an even worse disaster down the road, which they were all headed for. You know, that as bad as it seemed, it was going to be a lot worse. You know, Zaslav he's saving Warner Brothers from oblivion. If I may make a suggestion as to what I would want for Babylon 5, just as an aside, I came into Babylon 5 late. I was introduced to it by my friend Chris Young, and he and I had a conversation about it. I think if they do anything with Babylon 5, forget about rebooting it. Take it, spend a portion of the money that you would have made, because you could do this without remaking the whole show. Just give us a 4K edition and update the special effects. Use some, I use this word, use some AI technology to roto the actors and give them better set environments, because come on, the reason Babylon 5 is so great is because the writing and the actors, exactly. The writing and the actors were excellent. And if you can't recreate that, all the special effects in the world are not going to matter. So if you want people to appreciate Babylon 5, I think just give it the effects and the 4K upgrade it deserves, and put it back in there with some new publicity, some new, like, I think it could do really well. make a lot of money without spending a lot of money. So that may sound crazy. Christopher and his crazy talk. Yeah, I'm always going to bring up AI. I can't read exactly what.
He says, here we go. Chris and the goddamn robots AI.
You know what?
John,
Here it comes. Do it, John. Do it.
You know what?
I was out of place.
The goddamn robots, John!
I had the wrong screen up.
This is, by the way, this is my current AI project. You can see I am using artificial intelligence to sculpt this this alien for Escape from Planet Omega 12. All computer generated. I'm just using some clay and no computers.
Cool. You know what? I will say this. There's probably going to be a few more cuts. There's probably going to be a few more things that'll have to happen, at least on the Warner Brothers front. Personally, I would like to say that when you consider all of the discussions about trying to come to an agreement as far as negotiating how much a particular actor, performer, or creative will get paid, the current financial standing of Warner Brothers plays a large part into that. You can't be out there making deals with someone if you do not have the money to be able to pay them. Okay? So my thing on all of this recent stuff is that if you are having incredible problems with your financing, then I can't see really any performer just wanting to let a studio slide by and kind of owe them for the future. I think decisions that are made at this point financially are for the good of the company. And that as much as we would like to see certain people stay with certain projects, they got to be free to be able to earn a living. I mean, we can't ask someone to work for free as much as we may like them. So to me, Ben, Gal, Henry, I've enjoyed all those guys. Would I like to see them do more? Oh, heck yes. They are pretty much near perfect for their parts. But if Warner Brothers really didn't have the money to be able to pay them what they would like to be paid, then that's it. There's nothing that anyone else can say.
I think actors are going to have to come to terms, though, that maybe in the new entertainment economy, they might not be worth as much as they got used to being worth.
And there's that. There is also that. But I mean, again, the reality is that at least as far as Warner Brothers is concerned, David Zaslav is working to make sure that there's going to be a Warner Brothers in another 5 to 10 years. Okay. And with Disney getting ready for its centennial, you know, they need to be making a lot more cuts in order to guarantee that Disney as an organization will be around in another 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, again, for as bad as Warner Brothers is, let me just say Disney is probably a whole heck of a lot worse. And they have done a lot of stuff within the last 3 to 6 months to shoot themselves in the foot financially. You know, so again, I think Henry Cavill, being the class act that he is, I think going on to something else is probably the right thing for him, because I wouldn't want him to stay someplace where he's not getting paid what he's worth.
Well, didn't they say they were going to cast him as a different character, though?
Yeah. He never said that he was. Look, he never came out of that saying, I hate these guys and blah, 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 blah. He gave this really very classy way of announcing that he was no longer Superman. Not that he's getting away from Warner Brothers and he never wanted to work with them again.
Can you imagine if he's Jor-El?
Yeah.
I was thinking more along the lines of,
Sod?
I could actually see Henry Cavill in something that not a lot of people would initially think he would do, but I think he would be perfect, either cast in Steven Spielberg's Black Hawk.
The what?
Ha ha ha. Or, which I still think is going to happen, or as OMAC, One Man Army Corps.
What about Brainiac?
That's too much of a thing. I mean,
What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
I think ultimately he is a big fan, and that's definitely something that we need more of, as much as the MCU may not want that. And that's the other thing. All you people out there saying, "Oh, it'd be great if Henry Cavill went to Marvel." Let me tell you something. If you remember the reason why he decided not to be a part of The Witcher, why should he ever go to the MCU now? I mean, that thing that they are doing right now that is changing things isn't going to change anytime soon. So if he decides to sign up to go to the MCU, doesn't it kind of make then that whole situation with The Witcher something different?
On the other hand, in a perfect world where Marvel wasn't having its major problems, I liked the conversation we were having in the Twitter chat last night about casting him either as Cyclops or Omega Red. I think there was another good suggestion there. I can't remember what it was.
Great parts, all of them, but not something that would really be possible if he's going to be button heads with everybody running things, because it's not something that the fans recognize. I mean, that is the great thing about having someone like Henry Cavill. He is most definitely one of us.
Google Gobble.
So why should he sign up to do something where he's unhappy? And at his age now, as I said online, I mean, he should just go ahead and take Tom Cruise's advice, form his own production company, and start just making his own projects. Now, it would seem that that's what he's looking at doing by becoming a part of the Warhammer series. And let me just say, even I knew from the beginning that he was a big Warhammer fan. Now, if you remember, that's exactly how The Witcher started, being a big Witcher fan. He signs up, they do the show, and then but he got boned on that deal from the very beginning by Netflix. You hire somebody as your showrunner who's not a fan, who then goes out and hires a bunch of writers who aren't fans. That was what happened with The Witcher was going to happen. So now you have him looking at going and doing a Warhammer series. Great, everybody can celebrate. Oh, wait a minute, it's with Amazon. Jen Sulky.
Yep. Well, if I was going to cast Henry Cavill in anything Marvel, it'd be Captain Britain.
Again, I would love him to be Captain Britain, but not with the way things are going. And it's the same reason why I don't see him becoming Bond. Again, everybody, put your memory caps back on. What was the quote-unquote official statement from Eon Productions and Barbara Piccoli after this last Bond film?
Yep, they were going to be make him for a more sensible Bond for this age.
So Henry Cavill, in our minds, is a perfect Bond. Unfortunately, the Bond that we all have in our minds is now a Bond that is no longer compatible with what even the people who make the movies want to do.
Modern audiences.
So, again, everything is changing. Everything is changing.
I'm hearing buzz. Blizzard wants to take another stab at Warcraft, but this time they want to focus on World of Warcraft. So Henry Cavill would make a perfect Varian Wynn, the King of Stormwind.
He and Danny Garcia better negotiate one hell of a contract from here on out. If you want Henry Cavill, you're gonna have to pay through the nose. And the thing is, I don't blame him for doing that. You know, Kingsport Cal. I'm telling you, man, it's great that you want to see him as Bond, but
he's too old.
He's too old.
That's a problem.
You know, and I don't think he would want to do it. I know that there are a lot of people been talking about it, people like yourself, and you keep trying to put words in Idris's mouth. Okay, Idris,
Calvin,
he's hung out with Robert Downey Jr. and others. He knows the score. If you are an actor or actress of a certain age, you better have your own production company and be trying to make your own roles that you can benefit off of financially. Because with Bond, Idris Elba is never going to be allowed to make the kind of money that he would like to make. Not every actor out there now can actually make or do the Robert Downey Jr. deal. All the studios are hip to that now. So if you're going to sign up and spend years of your life doing something, it better be something that A, you enjoy, and B, you can financially benefit from in a big way. Bond is not one of those things that you want to do and spend years of your life doing, because you're never going to make the kind of money that you think you would like to make.
Even Daniel Craig hinted at that, as far as I know, that he was kind of unhappy being there because he was, had a multi-picture deal, and that was before he really got as big. Even Sean Connery couldn't wait to get out of his contract.
Yeah. It happens. It's one of those roles that if you're going to do it, it'll open a lot of doors for you, but it doesn't mean anything if you aren't allowed to pursue other things and go through those doors because you're spending all your time making Bond films. So, I mean, again, that's the reason why it's better to find somebody that's a little younger, has a little more time on their hands to be able to make at least a minimum of 3 films. So it'd be great if Idris could do it, but that time has passed. So, anyway. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, the thing is, you mentioned the Robert Downey Jr. deal. I mean, when he became Iron Man, nobody outside of comics fandom knew who Iron Man was or cared. He developed with, Jon Favreau. He developed that character for the screen. And this is something that I think a lot of actors should also, like you said, Henry Cavill should start his own production company and think about that rather than trying to glom onto properties that are already big. Find those little diamonds in the rough and develop them. That's, I mean, you mentioned Idris Elba. If I were him, I would see about, what more can be done with Luther.
Oh, heck yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to see a Luther feature,
So,
oh,
that's, I think, again, we're so preoccupied now with franchises that, again, not only is it difficult from the start to get them right, but now Hollywood has created an environment where, the fan expectation to be disappointed is looming over everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's, they got to start thinking about taking it in a different direction. And again, I agree with you. Movie stars are no longer movie stars as we once knew them. They now have to be their own production company, their own publicist. They've got to run their own show. My joke is it's just a higher class of OnlyFans without the porn. So,
well, look, let me end all of this by saying this. I really have a slightly different view as to who's to blame for everything that has gone on. For my money, you can lay blame at the feet of Snyder. Personally, I think Snyder's blame is minimal. He did direct and he did write.
He also created, I was just going to say, he also created, farms to artificially inflate the Snyderverse campaign, which, it worked in the short term.
Mr. Ticketron is leaving. I just want to say bye to him.
Bye, Mr. Ticketron.
Thanks.
Good to see you. Yeah, and Martine, yes, I posted a link in the private chat, but yes, Idris Elba is in the next Cyberpunk 2077 expansion, Phantom Liberty.
Nice.
but I will say this. As far as Zack Snyder goes, for a guy who was never given any opportunities to be creative, working on all this stuff, his culpability is only in so much as the fact that he stayed with it as long as he did. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, and the evidence proves this out, that the people directly responsible for a majority of what we didn't like are Kevin Tsujihara, Ann Sarnoff, Toby Emmerich,
yeah,
Jeff Johns,
and
Walter Hamada. Now I know there's people out there. Yeah,
guys, I'm looking for a script, guys.
I know that it's not the same as blaming David Ayer or David, David Zasloff or others. But the thing is the reality is that those are all the people that had full control over everything. Okay. The thing is that from the very moment he was hired, okay, you weren't dealing with someone who was in any real full control. I think we've been led down the merry path by calling it the Snyderverse, but in actuality, it was really the Warner Brothers verse because they controlled everything. Man of Steel was not his film; it was already a film in production. Batman v Superman was completely compromised because of all the studio notes. Again, people keep forgetting that part of it. They act like Batman v Superman was completely his idea and it's exactly what he wanted, when in actuality, he wanted to do Man of Steel too.
There was some weird stuff in his notes, though. I gotta say, like Lois and Bruce Wayne getting together while Superman was dead, and
that was definitely weird. And again, that's no weirder than Kryptonians having the ability to teleport.
The thing about it.
Well, wait. Let me reemphasize that. Kryptonians with the ability to teleport. And guess what? That was a part of a movie series that everybody loved. That was what Richard Donner came up with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a part of Superman 2. That's what they filmed.
Yeah.
Did they film Kryptonians teleporting?
In the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, in the Fortress of Solitude scene. That was one of the scenes they kept in the movie. That's in there.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
you
just probably told yourself. You see, over the years, a lot of fans kind of kind of get into this habit where they kind of anything that doesn't fit, their minds kind of blind them to it. The scene where the villains outnumbered Superman and Lois, and then Superman disappears, and then you see him reappear in front of all the villains,
and then they do the same.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
you could stretch and say that they were moving really, really fast.
Oh, you could stretch it, but we've already had that visual effect in the movie. We've already seen him move fast, and the visual effect for that was way different than in that scene.
I always just assumed it was like some sort of weird, like Superman illusion that they could do. I mean, I never.
So the ability to create illusions. Okay, that's now a new power. Okay.
You might as well just have Superman shoot tiny little Superman out of his hands.
I was just about to say that. Now, I mean, Keith, to your other point, too, though, you're absolutely right. I mean, I have been on sets, and I have seen what happens with directors. It's like you think the director's responsible. They'll do a shot and they'll literally have like a gaggle of producers, all like, teenagers in middle school conspiring with one another. And then they'll walk over to him and tell him to do it different. It's like, this is why I never wanted to be a director in Hollywood, because I would just be, essentially a middleman. They're the ones directing the movie through you. And that's why so many directors throw fits. You hear, what was that, the director of Fan Four Stick, supposedly trashed his hotel or whatever, or house he was staying in that they were paying for, because he's like, essentially you're getting abused every day, and you're being asked to make terrible decisions are terrible, and then when it finally reaches the screen, everyone blames you. So
yes. And again, a certain amount of that is definitely something that you take on, having that particular position. But in the case of Zack Snyder, you cannot tell me that there was any point for any of the films that he made that he had full creative control over what we eventually saw. He didn't. He never did. Ever. That's the reason why I say he does have to share some of the blame, but not all of the blame. Okay? You are being blind if you think that everything you saw in every one of those movies is completely his quote unquote vision. Okay? Batman v Superman was a good example of getting a lot of notes and him going with the notes. You have his original screenplay, but you also have the notes that he got as he was filming.
Yeah,
even that film was not completely what he originally wanted it to be. And then the studio went ahead, edited his movie, and put out their own version of that film, which is the reason why you have a different cut of the movie.
Yeah, a much different cut of the movie.
And then David Ayer had to almost fully go back and almost redirect a good portion of Suicide Squad, to the point where you're now rewriting not only large portions of the story, you're changing characters in order to fit this new version of the story. And you're refilming scenes to make them a little lighter and funnier. Okay? At no point did Zack Snyder have any full control over what you were seeing. That's the reason why you can be mad at Zack Snyder, but he was not the quote-unquote guy to blame, because under that auspices, then you could have put any other director in and everything would have automatically been better. And my answer to you is that's a lie. You're lying to yourself if you think that's what it would have been. That any other director could have gone into that situation and gotten anything they wanted out of that. Warner Brothers was never going to let that happen.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
So, again, I'm not saying he's blameless. I've never have said that. I'm just saying that the amount of blame we throw at this guy is not what it should be, when in actuality he had a lot of help. And in the case of Kevin Tsujihara, when it comes to Justice League, that wasn't really a decision made because it was the most helpful decision for the movie. It was made because he wanted to get paid. I mean, there's so many screw-ups, so many instances of things going wrong. And here's the other thing. Justice League, as it has been stated in multiple articles, he went along with a lot of the notes given about Justice League. There are things, even in his version of Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, that were not originally a part of what he wanted to do. But he did it because he knew that Warner Brothers was getting kind of antsy. They were on him 24/7, it seemed like. And again, it's not above things to happen where you have even producers and directors come to blow on movies. I'm looking at you, the recent version of Hellboy.
Oh my God.
I mean, when you have your director and a producer basically in the middle of a fist fight on set, things are out of control, you know. But it's not the first time that a producer and director have come to have disagreements about how a film should be made. Avi Arad, Spider-Man 3. So, you know, it is, again, there's a lot connected to this. But ultimately, as it stands right now, Warner Brothers and Zaslav have to make decisions in order to keep the entire company going. And I would like to believe that prior to a month ago, what everybody had been saying going into this month was still something that they thought was going to happen.
Oh, I have no doubt in that.
It's just that, again, the money forces you to make certain decisions. And as of right now, they couldn't afford to keep everybody. And eventually it just became one of those things. Well, if all you have is just Cavill, while a lot of us can sit around and saying, oh, yeah, that'd be enough. You could build everything around Cavill. Okay, you can. But then how much money is he asking for? He's a big star.
Yep.
If you don't have it, you don't want to go into any situation where you actually owe him money, or shock among shocks, you have to give him, like, say, you know, give him stock options.
Oh, Keith.
Yeah.
Keith, we have a question for you.
Yeah, let's get to the question.
Oh, it's from Wolverine 626.
Okay.
For
For
Keith.
Keith, if he's a fan of The Keep, it's being readapted by Greg Nicotero, which was originally directed by Michael Mann. I am very excited about that. Thank you, Wolverine 626. I am very excited by that. The Keep, the book, is amazing. I hope Greg Nicotero, though, will keep in those particular sequences and portions of the book that Michael Mann didn't do a very good job of bringing to life. The Keep really is like a massive thriller slash horror slash Highlander is really what it is. It's all three of those things in one story. So, yeah, thank you.
Hey, Keith, I have a question.
Yeah.
So what's number 4 on your list?
Thank you. Number 4 on my list is something that, again, I honestly thought that when I first saw this, I thought it would rate much higher at the end. But it's on here. It's made my top 5. Okay. And what I chose was Superman and Lois. It's just a solid show. And again, to have a television show where I think one of the strongest portions of that show is watching two people be parents to teenage boys, especially, but to be parents.
I think they got a little too bogged down in the CW drama, teen CW drama, for it to be that high on a list.
Well, and again, I agree with you, but that's the thing. Well, you know, it's the CW. This was a show made for the CW, you know. And again, I agree that when putting the whole thing together, choosing to have teenage sons rather than starting with just a young child. I totally get that. But then again, Script Doctor revealed what the CW Berlanti hero formula was, or I think it was called the Arrow formula. And after he explained it, I can't unsee it now. It is amazing to hear him describe this, talk about this formula. And if I can remember it correctly, it's basically you take your idea, you take your hero, you give them a team. Now, part of this I had already figured out on my own. You have to give the hero a team. You always have the tech person, the love interest, the heart of the team, all the different people that you have to build around a hero that in the comics is able to do things on their own.
Yeah.
And then you front load the entire thing money wise in terms of sets and background actors. Now, get this. When you look at The Flash, the show had all of these things, but as the seasons go on, in order to be able to continue the show going on financially, you start taking it out of other things. Okay? So you take it out of your set budget and definitely your budget for background people, to the point where now you have a character that's basically, or characters operating on near deserted sets. That's the reason why you need to have a team. That way, your lead actor, lead character, isn't by themselves on the show.
Yeah.
And it gets expensive though when you have a large cast and you try to carry them from season to season to season. So they needed to end that. All of that needed to go. They're still using that formula, it would seem, for Superman and Lois. But again, it's a better written show. And it definitely shows that, unfortunately for Jeff Johns, he seems to do well when he's surrounded by other writers who know what they're doing. Because, again, people think I'm being hard on the dude. All I have to say is Wonder Woman 84.
It's almost like you're saying that he doesn't have any idea what he's doing.
Let's see, Green Lantern 2011.
Oh,
Did he write The Long Halloween?
Jeff Johns?
Yeah, was it Jeff Johns and Tim Sale?
No. Jeff Johns didn't do that. But Jeff Johns did work with Greg Berlanti and Greg Berlanti's good buddy on writing the screenplay for Green Lantern. And then, he then got together with Patty Jenkins and wrote Wonder Woman 84, which Patty then decided to double down on for her script for Wonder Woman 3.
And that was booted.
Yeah. So, hey, Jeff, you need to stop. I'm giving you some advice, dude. You need to just stop. You need to just go back to comics, man. They really need you in DC Comics.
I don't even remember him writing any comics that I got excited about, though. I always kind of avoided his name on when I used to buy comics. So I don't know. Yeah. It just doesn't seem like, it seems like he's not cut out for this, at least to the degree that others are.
And Kingsport Cal, thank you for putting that together for us. It was Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale for The Long Halloween.
Thank you. Yes.
And let me just say this. Jeff Loeb, way better person in television than Jeff Johns. Okay.
I was going to say, I knew there was a Jeff in there that went from comic to television. So,
well, no, both of them actually have Hollywood backgrounds. Okay. Jeff Johns studied. I mean, that's where he went to college for, to write screenplays. and Jeff Loeb also screenplay guy. He started out in Hollywood. Both of them jumped into comics because it was an easier. It was something that you'd get a steady paycheck from if you were able to break in.
Used to be anyway.
Yeah. The thing is that it seems that Jeff Loeb was able to jump back into Hollywood and still find some level of success. As far as I'm concerned, prior to the MCU buying Fox's Marvel properties, Jeff Loeb did a phenomenal job on all of their television stuff, comparatively speaking. Because as far as I'm concerned, big controversial statement here. Everything that Jeff Loeb did with Marvel Television is way better than anything I've seen from Disney Plus since they started doing stuff with Marvel. I'm saying way better. Way better.
Well, that's back when there were still standards for writing.
True, but I mean way better. Way better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
all of their programming is just way better. Better cast and better scripts. But the Netflix stuff, all the Netflix shows, including Iron Fist. Look, Iron Fist is a low point. Still not as bad as, in certain respects, as certain shows that I almost said out loud, but it would hurt the feelings of somebody on the panel. Anyway,
no, go for it. Go for it.
And I'm just not the biggest fan of a lot of the stuff they've done on Disney Plus. That's all. They have maybe one or two episodes that are decent, but for the most part, it's almost all trash. Almost all trash. So
I didn't think Ms. Marvel was actually that bad, considering.
I said it was almost all trash.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As a collective, the Netflix stuff versus the Disney Plus stuff, I'll take the Netflix stuff time after time.
all day, every day, and twice on Tuesday.
That's right. Jessica Jones, come on. You know, Luke Cage, even the Defenders. And I didn't even think the Defenders was the best. It's still a lot better than a lot of the stuff I've seen on Disney Plus.
Yep.
You know, and of course Daredevil. Look, this is the one thing they're never going to be able to avoid. Once they start with Daredevil officially in the MCU by giving him his own stuff, you're going to be able to sit down and compare Netflix Daredevil to the MCU Daredevil. And something's telling me we're not going to like the Disney Plus MCU Daredevil as much.
Prediction right now, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot by trying to do another hallway fight scene, and they're going to totally blow it.
Oh, geez. Oh, man. But hey, you know, such is life. Anyway.
We'll try and save money and shoot the entire show in a hallway.
Okay. That's good.
That was harsh.
Hey, that's John. John's on it. You know,
savage.
I mean, he is savage, John.
My phone is about to run out of juice. I couldn't neglect sculpting this any longer. So, but I gotta go, and I gotta say this dude's gonna be covered in fur at some point. But I'm pretty pleased with how he's coming along. He's still really rough, but you know, so you can say you saw it here first. Gentlemen, thank you very much for having me be a part of the panel. As always, I love you guys and have a great weekend.
Bye, Chris. You too.
Thank you.
All right. Well, how the hell do I log out of it? Oh, here it is. Okay.
Shut down the phone.
Anyway, to get back to Superman and Lois.
Wait. Oh. We have a super chat from Christian Delorme, our good friend again.
Okay, $5. A winter dad joke. Why did the snowman pull down his pants? He heard the snowblower was. Oh, geez. Okay. Oh man. Okay. You know what? I appreciate that $5 so much. So much. I have to give you this.
How very interesting. You're a true Bulgarian, aren't you?
You're the Bulgarian, you fuck!
Anyway. Wow.
And this seems to be appropriate time for it.
What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
Okay, so let me just say this. When I first heard about Superman and Lois, I wasn't expecting to really like it. And based on what little I had seen from Supergirl, wow. I wasn't thinking it was going to be any good. Boy, was I surprised. This is a well-written show. Consistently well-written, well-acted. You can't help but love the cast. Yeah, not everything is what I would think it could be, but it considering what I have said, some of the things that I've alluded to before, Supergirl, shows like The Leftover, Legends of Tomorrow, and other shows that have been a part of the Berlanti verse, it could have ended very badly. I mean, this could have been just a pile, Tyler Hoechlin, Bitsy Tulloch. I mean, just great cast. And you can definitely tell that everybody's having a good time making this show. Even getting Angus McFadden to be Jor-El. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good cast. Good cast. And very well written. One of the few things that I think Jeff Johns has been involved with is actually good. Unlike his Wonder Woman 84 script. But I'm gonna keep hitting him over the head with that one.
Keep flogging that dead horse.
I ain't no dead horse if you're one of the people that actually paid to get back in just to see that. I know people that did that. Bought into HBO Max just to see that. Anyway,
no, it's worse. I went to the theater to see it. So
what? Hold up! You actually went to the movie theater and, dude, really?
Yeah, I saw Wonder Woman 1984 in the theater.
Oh, dude, my dude.
I see everything in the theater.
I know, but
I'm even going to see Avatar, but I'm not going until $5 Tuesday.
Wow. Well,
yeah,
I will
totally
say,
snubbed you on that one.
yeah.
What can I say? I'm the only Avatar guy in the whole PCM community.
I have to say that for this past season of Superman and Lois, I'd say Bizarros in a Bizarro World was the best episode they had. That was a standout episode for this season, episode 10. So I again, a solid cast, and yes, they use the whole Berlanti comic book formula of how to put a show together. But this is a nice, large cast. I think it'd be a while before you are able to see any of the deleterious effects from using that formula. Although this is also one of the shows that they're trying to shop around so that other platforms might have an opportunity to have this show and still keep the show going. I think this one, along with The Nevers, which again, let me just say, I am so glad they are keeping that show around. The Nevers is a really cool idea. I hope that they're able to find somebody that will take that show on. And I think the other show that they're shopping around is Westworld. So Superman and Lois, Westworld, and the Nevers are currently being shopped around as we speak.
Hopefully, they do a better job than what they've done for Westworld the last season.
Well, that's the thing. I think they're trying to get somebody to take it on. I think they're looking at having only one more season for Westworld, so that's going to be a tough sell. If you're only going to do one more season. So I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would take that on. But hey, could be worse. Could be worse. Could be a $1 billion Amazon show. Anyway, let's see. Number 2 on my list. What can I say about this? Everybody was talking about it. It is a good show. It is solid every single time. And that's The Boys.
Oh, yeah. Again, I forgot The Boys. So put The Boys as number 3, move everybody down a notch.
I'm sorry to do that to you. I'm so
That's
sorry.
fine.
But again,
what is Martine? What the hell?
I like Avatar. Deal with it.
Anyway, it could be worse, buddy. It could be worse. But no.
Okay.
The Boys is a really good show, and for those that haven't seen it, look, it really is. If a superhero team like the Avengers were actually in the real world and run by a corporation.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, that's pretty much it. And again, huge shout out to the entire cast because they all kick ass. And season 3, oh my God. I mean, geez. I mean, to have had everyone that they had in season 1, Carl LeBron, because Carl's cool. Jack Quaid, Aaron Moriarty, Chance Crawford, Laz Alonso, Jesse T. Usher, Karen Fukuhama, who, again, this is actually her second major superhero thing because she was a part of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
David Ayer's Suicide Squad. Let's see. Claudia DeMitt. And special appreciation to Mr. Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, who might actually get a major acting nomination, Emmy award nomination for his role just for this season.
He should.
And the other big thing is that Eric Kripke, who is the creator of Supernatural, brought in and called in a favor and got Jensen Ackles to be on this season.
Nice.
Wow.
But
I don't think it was that big of a favor, considering I don't think he was doing anything major at the time.
Oh, well, I know that he's got another project, another television show that he's also, Oh, what are you saying, Martin? What do you need?
No, that I would like to have a movie, a live action movie of Red Hood with Jensen Ackles keeping the mask. Yeah, man, that is the animated version was excellent. He was excellent.
Look, I get it. I do. I just have to say I refer you to Script Doctor's breakdown. There's one other thing that he had on that list that I didn't. Yeah, I can see John. John, you know what I'm about to say. This is going to sound bad. Remember, this is Script Doctor's analysis, not mine. Okay, so I don't need the hate mail. You can send it all to Script Doctor. Okay, but you find actors who are not necessarily the biggest or the basically you go ahead and find actors that are good but cheap and ones who
Yes.
can't go beyond a certain level that makes it easier to keep them on the show for an extended period of time and renew contracts year after year after year. And initially I, like some of you out there, was like, what are you talking about? But then Script Doctor said, name one single person that has ever come out of any of that stuff for the CW, or at least the Berlanti stuff, that has gone on to headline a major hit film.
Well, I wouldn't call it a hit, but they did have Stephen Amell being Casey Jones. And
Hey, no, there's a lot of them that have been in films. Jensen Ackles. I mean, both of the Supernatural leads have been in movies. But were those films hits? Again,
no.
I tried to figure out a way around what he was saying, and I couldn't.
Yeah, and he's right. And you know, the main reason is what you said, to get somebody young and unknown or little known to A, get it cheaper, and B, so you can lock in that long-term contract.
That's right. And again, this is another reason why Grant Gustin was never considered to be the Flash.
Yep.
Sorry. I know a lot of you love saying it, but just because you watch the show and enjoy it doesn't mean it would work. So,
yeah, he couldn't carry the Flash movie.
Yeah,
there's no way.
There's no way. Again, I love the show. Okay, and Grant is a lovable guy. I follow him on Instagram. He has got I love the dude, but he's not that guy. So,
of course, neither is freaking the guy that's currently in the position.
Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Well, that's no longer going to be a problem now.
Nope. You don't have to worry about that. After this movie, it's done.
Again, I will say that his shenanigans didn't exactly help this current situation that we find ourselves in. As far as I'm concerned, what he was doing kind of sort of helped to contribute to where we are ultimately, and not having Henry Cavill as Superman as well as everyone else. So, hey, thanks, Ezra. Anyway, but again, that's kind of low on the list compared to what I had originally said, which is everyone else that I had named, all the major executives. It's those a-holes that are directly responsible for 90% of the problems that you have with all of the DCEU films. I'm sorry, but that's the fact. Because no director, I don't care, you can name anybody. If those people had treated any director the same exact way, you were still going to have problems.
Yeah. Hey, Keith, I hate to be that guy.
Yeah.
But we got like 20 minutes left, so we need to
then let me finish up the list. So, The Boys, number 2. Okay. Good show. Good season. Let's see. And I need to pick my favorite episode or the standout episode of this past season. And for me, that episode is, if you've seen this season, you have to know what I'm about to say. Episode 6,
Herogasm. Which was extremely tame compared to the comic book. All the stuff they did in that on the show, it's 10 times worse than comic. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! I mean, come on! Wow, this is a show that seems to revel in the fact that they can just do that to you. They can do anything they want, go as outside the box as they want, and people will still come back and watch more. So, wow. But it's good. And again, when you have standout actors, especially Anthony Starr as Homelander is the star of the show.
Yeah.
Okay, Anthony Starr, Carl Urban, they're the two that really work this show from beginning to end. The two of them, you can't take your eyes off those guys. So Billy and Homelander are really it for that
Well, that's
show.
the focus. That's the focus of the comic. I mean,
And-
it's
and-
all about the
yeah.
relationship between Billy and Homelander.
Yes. Okay. Number 1 of this list of the top 5 for 2022.
Power.
It is it's
Moon Knight.
obvious. It is obvious what it is. I almost don't even have to say it, but you know what? I'm going to. Because I wasn't originally that big on the show. Number 1, House of the Dragon. Look, I'm sorry. I just have to say that I was not that big on this show when it was announced. I thought this show was just going to be at best.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that I was wrong. I was very wrong about this show.
Well, yeah, because the last 2 seasons pretty much ruined any real excitement I had over Game of Thrones, the whole thing. And at this point, as much as I want him to finish the book, I'm like, if he finishes it, great, but I'm not going to lose sleep over him not finishing the book at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I want to say this. House of the Dragon has probably one of, if not the best cast of any television show for this season. Period. There are episodes where, there are episodes where a good portion of the episode where nobody says anything. And they act circles around the $1 billion Amazon show without even trying. Hell, they outdo that show even in the opening credits. I gotta say, during the course of this season, I kept flipping between this actor or actress as to be the standout breakout star. Matt Smith is the star. Okay, Daemon Targaryen is you can't take your eyes off of him. But Ryan Iffens is Otto Hightower, and Patty Constantine as Viserys. Those two actors are just amazing. And I hope Patty walks away with Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, he deserves it.
He just, I can't think of any other performance for any other television show this season that matches, that comes close. I know, again, it's just one of those. You can name any scene, any portion, anything from this show, and it is just phenomenal from beginning to end. So as far as me picking an episode, I say all of them. I'm serious, all of them.
The only knock I have against this show is I would have liked to have seen more original music instead of them relying on Game of Thrones for its music.
Yeah.
That's the only knock I could come up with on this show.
Well,
Dead air.
I definitely have to agree. It look, they even did something that when I first heard about it, I thought, okay, this is going to be a bad idea. The 10-year jump.
Oh yeah,
Oh, geez, in the middle of a show.
yeah. 10-year jumps like that usually don't work in
Yeah,
the show.
and they not only did it, they did it really well. I mean, oh, geez, yeah, but I can't pick one single episode. I just can't. It is all so good, and again, it's a master class in acting. I mean, think about this.
I could tell you what my favorite scene is.
What's your favorite scene?
The one where Damon's facing off against after he finds out that his brother's finally going to send troops and ships to help him. He's like,
That's a good
"Screw it,
one.
I'll do it myself," and goes and takes on the crab feeder.
Yeah,
And he
that's a good
comes
one.
walking out at the end of that with just half the crab feeder.
That's a good one.
Not even half. The shoulders and top part of the torso, and that's all that's left of the crab feeder.
There are so many good scenes. I mean, the scene with the kids after the big fight about the dragon. That's a good scene. The scene where Damon faces off with Otto the first time, and they are interrupted by the dragon arriving and landing, and that's a good one. But if I had to pick one scene, this is still difficult, but if I had to pick one scene, it's the one where I think Patty secured his place as being the best actor of the year, which is
The dinner.
Before that, it's the scene where Viserys walks in and nobody expected to see him.
Yeah.
That one scene is one of the greatest scenes really in all of any of these shows between Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. That one scene where Viserys comes walking in and nobody expected to see him. The looks on everyone's faces, and as this guy who obviously is on his last legs is struggling to get there, and where he's trying to make it up the steps, and eventually Damon comes in to help him. You know,
Yep.
that I'm still getting emotional just recounting that. Yeah, it's great scene. So there you go. That's my top 5, from 5 to 1. The Old Man, Reacher, Superman and Lois, The Boys, House of the Dragon, and
Any honorable mentions?
And the honorable mentions, as far as live action stuff, The Umbrella Academy season 3 and Pennyworth season 3. And then as far as animated, Rick and Morty season 6, Harley Quinn season 3, Inside Job season 2, Archer season 13. And
No
for those of
Legend of
you,
Vox Machina?
it's a good show, but it didn't make it into my top 20. Sorry.
That's okay.
For those of you that don't know about the Inside Job, that's a Netflix show.
Yes.
And yeah, it's
Oh,
way too
did
much
you
fun
watch Oddballs?
I think I've seen it. Didn't make it into my top 20. Sorry. It did not make it into my top 20.
Don't be sorry.
We all
But
got different tastes.
that's what has stood out to me out of what was offered over the course of this television season. So I know all of you out there have your favorite shows, your favorite TV and streaming shows, and I know a lot of this is just heavily weighted on streaming. But originally I was going to try to do a 5 for 5, 5 for TV and 5 for streaming. But I just thought that's way too much work.
Well,
So-
and TV hasn't offered as much as streaming has as far as quality shows this time around.
Yeah. It is it's difficult. So there we go. And Retro Nerd Girl, yeah, and Sax, yes. Again, out of all the television that you've seen this season, can you think of one scene? Can you think of 2 or 3 scenes that beat that one? You know?
No, even my favorite scene doesn't beat that one. I just think that's like I said, this is my favorite scene because the way it's done is, he goes out there, it looks like he's given up. And it's just a ruse to draw them out.
Yep. It's a master class in directing, a master class in acting, a master class in set design, a master class in lighting, a master class in choosing the right locale to stage your production. The entire thing from top to bottom, opening to closing credits, is a master class in how to create good TV. Period.
Yep.
I mean, that's it. I don't want to be that guy and try to offend too many people, but it's just House of the Dragon's just that good, and the $1 billion Amazon show isn't.
Well, an honorable mention for me would probably be For All Mankind.
Ooh, yeah, good show.
Yeah, I think this season especially was really good in dealing with. Now they're past the whole space. Let's look at how our future would shape up.
Yeah.
Now that they're past the space race, and even though the Russians are still a big part of the storyline, it's still good to look at. Well, what the future technology would affect and the changes that would be made.
Yeah.
Plus, the characters on that show are just great.
Mm-hmm. There is good TV out there, and everybody has that thing that they really like. And for me, if somebody had said at the beginning of this season that House of the Dragon was going to be at the top of my list, I would have thought you were crazy. You know, I never expected that to be as good for me as it was, and it definitely became must see TV. I will say this though, Wednesday did make it into my top 20. It's a good show.
I still haven't found time to watch it yet. I'm going to everybody. I'm like Chris is saying everybody's telling me to watch Andor. Everybody I know has been telling me to watch Wednesday because it's a good show, but it's not a. I just haven't had time to view it yet.
Well, I've been slow walking that one myself. I can only take so much. Although, again, I will say this, based on what little I have seen, I will say that this is way better than a majority of what Lucasfilm has put out on Disney Plus this season, because Obi-Wan was just that bad. It was just that was
Book of Boba Fett, even though it started in 2021, was that bad.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's hard to take.
I think Obi-Wan has been the lowest point of all Disney Star Wars. The lowest point.
I would okay, of on Disney Plus.
No.
The absolute lowest
Yeah.
voice is the Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will
But
concede.
to defend my choice of Legend of Vox Machina as my favorite of the year, I have more of an emotional attachment to the characters because I spent years watching the first campaign, and I mean, because it was, I've been with these voice actors for a long time, and the fact that they were doing this wasn't another company that came on along and said, "Hey, let's use your characters."
Mm-hmm.
They were behind it. They crowdfunded the whole first season was completely crowdfunded. And whereas they were wanting to get, I think it was like a couple of $1 million, they ended up getting like 20 or some ludicrous amount. So yeah, it's like I said, these characters, there was like 150 episodes, and all episodes are like 4 hours apiece.
Well,
that's a lot of time to spend with characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
now before we go,
yes.
I have to address this. I know it was a joke and everything, but has tried to nominate the fucking Cowboy Bebop reboot of Netflix, and to that I only can say,
how dare you?
You know what?
Well, fortunately, that was last year, so
yeah. Well, I have to say, look, everybody has that thing that they're entertained by. Not everybody can have the same things that turn them on, and not every list can match. If there's something that you really enjoyed, good, enjoy it, love it. I really did think that my list was going to be quite different than what it ended up being. But I had to be honest with myself about what I actually enjoyed and what I carried with me after watching every episode of all of these shows. And that's just the way it worked out. There are certain shows that I thought would rate higher on my list than they did. But overall, I struggled with it, and this is what I came up with. So
I didn't expect Reacher to be that high because I wasn't expecting anything out of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, let's take a book and let's adapt it. And I'm like, you can't take, nobody's been able to adapt books properly. This one comes pretty close.
Yeah. And it helps when you have the right actor cast. And again, that's not taking a shot at Tom Cruise. I love the fact that Tom Cruise actually did that film. He's
Tom
not physically...
Cruise, 50% Jack Reacher.
I enjoy Tom Cruise because he is the patron saint of what Hollywood should be like, as far as the treatment of the customers and fans and what you're wanting to accomplish by entertaining them. It seems to be something a lot of other people either want to forget or they've never understood. This is about all of us who pay good money to be entertained. So, it's got me looking forward to Mission Impossible. And that's the other thing about, again, all the rest of this. Christopher McQuarrie, who is directing the next 2 Mission Impossible films, is one of the executive producers of Reacher.
Makes sense.
So, and one last thing. Let me put this out about Reacher. The lead actor, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one. This is going to sound weird, but given how big he is and given his age, I could see him being cast If James Gunn really wanted to do it, if we're really going to reboot the entire DC universe, he really does physically right now look like Alex Ross's version of Aquaman.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
I don't know.
Although
man.
I do
I
like
prefer-
the Aqua Bro better.
Yeah, but that's if he hasn't been. That's if he hasn't been recast. I mean, once we get past the Flash,
Yeah. Now,
He could-
what they could do is they instead of keeping him on as the Flash, they could actually make him, or as Aquaman, they can make him Lobo.
yeah,
And then
that's what
bring
I'm
somebody
thinking.
else to be.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he's not gonna be Aquaman. He'll probably end up being Lobo, and you would need someone to take over as Arthur Curry. And for all of you out there thinking, well, we have to hire someone that looks like this. Actually, you don't. Once everything gets rebooted, that means rebooting even the origin story a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, he just, for those of you who really don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Alex Ross Aquaman. Alan looks way too much like that. He could do it, and you got to remember the whole Aqua Bro long hair thing in the 80-year history of the character.
That's
That
a small
whole
part of it.
That's like not even 20 years
Nope.
that he's been like that. Prior to that, he looks just the way that Alex Ross draws him.
Yep.
So, just saying.
So I guess that brings us to the end of the show.
And that does. Wow. So let me get to the thank yous at this point. We're going to start out with thanking D. Bud Martin, the Comic Relief Crusader, Socks Bulletins, Penny, Anima, Krampus Jeebus, Mr. Tuckletrunk, Joseph Dredd, Keela Chow,
Earl Tide,
AF Fletcher, 88, Camaro Vel, Kristen Delorme, Shinatsky, Willie the Monkey King, Scribe Light, Pat S, Kingsport Cal, Wolverine 626, Retro Naga, Martine, Zax, Dragon Ruse, and the Peter Vinkman fan site. Wow.
You didn't have to read Martine's name. That was a link to him for.
I know, but I like him because he's extra special like that. And Krampus, I know he was hawking Titans, but he's not on Titans now. He's on a better show.
He's now a fine mist in Titans.
He should be He-Man before anything else. He should be He-Man.
You know what? I would normally support that, except that I don't know how this company is doing things. I mean, look, they went ahead with the Netflix version of He-Man, and I know I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I know, again, all you out there, yes, I know he started out on Smallville as Aquaman, which would be the irony to have him be Aquaman on the big screen. Just saying. So let's see. The Reacher actor would make him a great Captain America. Yes, he would. You know what, Zax? That is true. That is true. So it's a race to see who can get to him first. But I will say right now that unless certain things happen, I don't think I could, with good conscience, could ever really support too many MCU projects from here on out. They need to change how they're doing things. When you have one of your VPs come out and say that they go out of their way not to hire fans as writers or to allow them into the writer's room, that's a bad sign. That means they're walking away from the fan base. Because look, how else would you be able to interpret that?
There's not many ways to interpret that.
Ultimately, that'll lead you to my interpretation, which is they're walking away from the fans. Oh, they want your money. They just don't want you to help out in the making of anything. Let's see. Retro Nerd Girl. I'd love to see Alan as Conan in that project. That would be great. Probably would have had one. He probably would have gotten cast. You know, in fact, I think his name may have come up for Conan back when they were trying to do all of the work for the Amazon series. But, oh, wait a minute. Jennifer came in and kind of changed everything.
Yeah, fired what's his name, and he went on to make Game of Thrones. Or not
Yeah,
Game of Thrones,
House of the
Dragon.
Yeah, which means, you know, that butt whipping that they're getting from House of the Dragon, that's earned. That is earned. So, okay. Well, I guess that's it, everybody. So.
Well, there's only one thing I've got to say.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Well, for Martin, John, and myself, I hope all of you out there have had a phenomenal time. And I hope the rest of your Friday goes really well. This has been Coffee with Keith and John and Martine. Telling you to have a really, really good Friday. And we will see you back here for TGI.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yes, celebrating.
Today's our
5,000.
50,000. 5,000. Yeah.
2 and 2.
Yep.
Bye.
So,
hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon for updates on our shows and channel. Also, please leave a comment, and we'd like to know what you thought of the episode, as well as letting us know if there's something you'd like us to cover in a future episode. Don't forget that you can become a member of Pop Culture Minefield now. Make sure to visit our membership page and merch store at popcultureminefield.com. You can always find Pop Culture Minefield on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.